Backpacking isn't just about carrying a pack through the woods and trying to hit peaks and walk as far as you can. It's a lot about mindset. And honestly, a lot of us talk ourselves out of a really good trip because of the lies that we tell ourselves when planning our first backpacking trip. So today I want to call out some of the lies that we end up telling ourselves when planning our trips and the truths behind them and how to dispel those lies and get on the trail for your first trip and have a good time. Hi, welcome to the channel, and I help beginner backpackers and intermediate backpackers plan their backpacking trips and get out on the trail and kind of dispel all of those myths that there is about backpacking. And I just want to encourage you and equip you to get out there on the trail. Today, we're going to be going over 9 lies that you tell yourself about backpacking and the truths to actually dispel those lies. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Lie number 1 is it's telling yourself that you are not good enough to go backpacking. So I think we've all been there at one point or another in some way, like you're like scrolling through, reels on Instagram or shorts on YouTube, or just watching these videos of backpackers going out there and absolutely crushing it and doing these awesome trails and trips. And it feels like they are just achieving something that you could never even think or dream to accomplish. And the truth is, backpacking is really personal, and it's really a mental game, and it's just a personal experience and journey for yourself. That's one of the great things about backpacking is there is no actual standard. So this is all about what you are able to do and what you want to do. So stop telling yourself that you have to be able to do these massive mileage days and these crazy 15-week trips through hiking some trail, whatever it is. Backpacking for you can mean an overnight, a 2-day trip of 10 miles total or 5 miles total, whatever it is. But make sure you don't kind of fall into like this envy of watching other people's videos and shorts and all of those things and think like, man, they must have just started off amazing and I can never do that, because you absolutely can. And remember that this is a personal journey for you, and personal accomplishments is what backpacking is. So go out there and do what is an accomplishment for you, not for somebody else, right? Lie number 2 is when you are actually already on the trail and you tell yourself, I am never going to finish this trip. That usually can hit somewhere around mile 5 or mile 1 or mile 15 or mile 50, whatever it is, depending on how long your trip is. There's going to be a thought you have, which is, I'm never going to finish this. I just need to bail out now. I can't do it anymore. It's a really common thought. It usually happens right around mile 2 of the constant uphill up a mountain, and you are just done and you've just been pushing and then you look up and there's still just endless upwards, and it's just this thing that we tell ourselves like, oh man, I am done. I'm not going to finish this trail anymore. All of those things, and it's just not true. So take one step at a time. Backpacking is a journey of 1,000 steps, not one big one. So take it a step at a time, take it one pace at a time, 1 mile at a time, and just keep going forward. So you will finish this trip, you will get it done, and it's just a complete lie that you will never going to finish. So keep going and keep pushing. Lie number 3 is one that's sort of personal for me as well, but it is, if I don't complete this, I am weak or I am not good enough. This is one that I've had to, this is like a soundtrack in my mind that I've had to dispel myself and really just erase and replace with good soundtracks. But yeah, it's if I don't get this done or if I don't do this in the way that I want to be doing it, then I am weak and I'm not enough and I can't accomplish anything. And then you start sort of spiraling into this whole thing. But really, that is totally a lie that you're telling yourself. It is not the truth. You can have 0 days. You can take days off while you're on the trail, especially if you're doing through hikes. Take a 0 day. If you bail out early, you didn't fail a trip. You just did a shorter backpacking trip than you were expecting to do. I've been there too. I'll leave a link for a video that I did recently, which was, so you failed a backpacking trip, now what? It's a really good video and really encouraging, I think. And I talked about a lot of my personal experiences of having to bail out on the trail at different times. So make sure to go watch that video if you have the time. It's a great one for that. But the lie of, if I don't finish this or if I don't complete this in the way that I wanted to, I'm weak and I'm a failure and I'm not enough. Absolutely not true. Once again, backpacking is a personal journey. So just do the best you can, push yourself, and push yourself to excel and to push back past those barriers and those boundaries, and just grow. But don't think that if you have to bail out or take a 0 day or do less mileage than you were planning on, that you are weak and a failure. You are absolutely not. So just get rid of that lie right now. Lie number 4 is one that I also have fallen into at different times. I'm a kind of person that picks up a lot of hobbies as I go. And the lie here is that if I don't have the best gear to start with, then I might as well not even do it. That's a huge lie, and it's one that, like I said, I've told myself plenty of times in a lot of my hobbies, but backpacking is no exception. It's not the truth at all. Start with the gear that you can get, start with the gear that you need, and then upgrade your gear as you go. So this is a thing that I've talked about in videos in the past, but you really just start at where you can, and then you slowly upgrade your gear over time. You don't need to have like the absolute best gear to start off. Honestly, if you do, you might just disappoint yourself, because some people, I feel like there's like a term for this, but it's, if you think you have all the best gear, then you think you're automatically good at that thing. That's not true. So some of the best backpackers I've seen and know are people who just take what they want out on the trail. It's not the best gear in the world, like, you know, just kind of like speaking of like gear performance in particular, but it's the gear that they love and the gear that they want to take, and it's the gear that they can take. So the lie that you have to have the best gear to even start backpacking is just absolutely not true. Just enjoy your time out there, take the gear that you can, and then upgrade it over time if you want to, but you don't have to start off with the best gear ever. So there you go. Here's lie number 5 is that, okay, you have to live somewhere with really good trails to go backpacking. This is another one. So a lot of these are my personal experience, that if you haven't figured that out yet. But the lie of I must be close to the best trails in the world or the best trails in the country to even bother going backpacking, that's not true. There are other ways to go backpacking. For one thing, you can find trails in your area most of the time. Even if you can't, you can still travel to trails. Yes, it takes more logistics. Honestly, it does. It takes a little bit more work to get on those trails, especially if you're doing like multi-day backpacking trips. But it is not true that you have to live near trails to go backpacking. There are ways around it. There are things you can do. There's planning steps you can take, and make them more meaningful trips. So a lot of times my wife and I, what we'll end up doing is we'll travel to wherever it is. We'll spend a couple of days in the town and just hanging out and eating at restaurants and all of those things. And then we spend a couple of days on the trail, and then we get off the trail, and then we spend a day or two kind of coming down from being on the trail and enjoying the town and the area. And then we fly home or drive home, whatever it is. But that's like an alternative means of enjoying backpacking trails that we've really come to appreciate, is just creating a trip around the backpacking trip itself. So the lie that you must be close to really good trails to go backpacking is just not true. Find ways around it. My first backpacking trip ever, not that I would totally recommend this, but we actually just tried backpacking the route of a river in the area. We ended up having to bail on that trip. It was our first one ever. I also have an experience about that I'll put a video up here for you. But you do not have to have the best trails in the world around you to go backpacking. So start with what's local, see if you enjoy it, and then move up from there. Lie number 6 is that you think you have to be like ultra hardcore with your backpacking trips for them to even count or matter. So you think that you must be doing mountaineering and climbing K2 or Everest or Denali or something like that. Or you think that you have to do 6-day trips out in the wilderness in the backcountry in the middle of nowhere and hunt your own food while you're out there. And you think that you have to just be like extreme and hardcore for it to count as a good backpacking trip. And that's also just absolutely not true. So you do not have to do like these like hardcore ultra trips to make it count as backpacking. A 2-day trip with a couple of friends on a simple trail that's 10 miles long, and you just get to go out there, you hike for a couple of miles, you set up your tent in your camp, and you camp for the evening and wake up the next morning and then hike out. That's a backpacking trip. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Don't kind of talk yourself out of, well, it's not even gonna be a good trip, so I might as well not do it. That's just not the truth. Any overnight stay where you are hiking out to somewhere, you're camping out there, and then you hike back or you hike further, whatever it is, that's backpacking. So don't delude yourself into thinking that it must be like this like really intense trip for it to count. Anything out in the woods like that is backpacking, and just enjoy it. That's what this is about, not about beating a record or beating your friends on Instagram, whatever that means. So just enjoy the trip and don't think that you have to go ultra hard to make it actually a backpacking trip. Lie number 7 is that you must be in physical peak condition to go backpacking. Now, absolutely, it really helps. The more fit you are, the more you're going to enjoy the trail. So don't take this as me saying, like, don't condition at all to go out backpacking. Make sure you're conditioning, make sure you're prepared for what you're going to be doing. So if you're gonna end up doing this really intense, difficult backpacking trip, you should probably condition for that and know what your physical fitness level is. Don't bite off more than you can chew, that kind of thing. So that's not what I'm saying, but the idea that, okay, I have to like be able to do a triathlon and an ultra marathon before I can go on a 3-day backpacking trip on mostly flat ground is just kind of crazy. So you can kind of talk yourself out of even trying to enjoy a backpacking trip because you think you have to at first like knock down all these goals of being in peak physical performance shape before you go backpacking. So plan a trip that caters to your fitness level and try to achieve better physical fitness. That's always a good idea. But the lie that you must be in peak physical shape and like perfect physical shape before you go backpacking just isn't true. You need to be conditioned. You need to be conditioned for the trail you're going to do, but don't think that you have to be, a fitness savant to be able to go backpacking. So just know what you're getting into, know your physical fitness that you need to be at to do that trail, and then go out and do it. Line number 8 is that it's too dangerous to go out backpacking. Now, once again, this is one that kind of comes with a caveat, which is make sure that you understand the warning signs of flash thunderstorms, and you know what wildlife is in your area, so you know how to take care of a bear if it comes at you, or rattlesnakes or poisonous bugs or whatever it is. Like, be safe and know what you need to know about that area. But some people, I think, just get this image in their head of backpacking is like a fight for survival every single day, and it's just not true. It's actually just, honestly, if you just really dilute or kind of just like strip away everything that backpacking is and get back to the base of it, it's really just hiking from one spot to the next on the trail until you complete a certain amount of set mileage that you wanted to do, and you're just camping between. That's all it is. So if you have gone hiking and then you've gone camping and just put those two together, and now you're backpacking. So don't make it more than it really is. It is something that you can challenge yourself with. You can do summits, you can do peaks, you can do really strenuous backpacking trips, but it is not too dangerous for anybody to really be doing. So understand your risks, understand how to take care of those risks, and then go out there and have fun and just start with the simple trail. If you like it, do more. Line number 9 is that you will look silly or weird trying to go backpacking when you don't know everything. So another one that I've struggled with myself and tell myself about new hobbies I'm getting into is that I think I have to know everything before I start. That's not true. Also, there's a million videos out there that teach you how to do backpacking and how to properly use your gear and all of those things, my channel being one of them, but there are a lot of good channels out there for teaching you how to do backpacking and helping you kind of gain that knowledge before you got on the trail for the first time. But you're not gonna look silly, you're not gonna look crazy or stupid or dumb for going backpacking and trying to experience something new in the outdoors and get into a new hobby. Everybody looks dumb when starting a new hobby. Backpackers are no exception to that. And here's the good thing about backpackers, with exceptions, I guess, because there are in every hobby and field, backpackers are really not that judgy. If you are out on the trail with somebody else or encountering somebody else, they're mostly just gonna say, hey, it's awesome you're out here too. Watch out for that bear back there, or you're gonna really enjoy that view you're about to come up to, whatever it is. But backpackers are not the kind of people who are gonna look at you and say, wow, you're an idiot. They're actually just gonna love the fact that you're out there on the trail doing what they're doing, and you might even make a friend on the way. So backpackers are actually very friendly people in general. So just don't believe the lie that you think you're gonna look dumb starting out backpacking. You won't. We all did at one point, I guess, but no one's gonna judge you for it. The truth is, all of us have told ourselves these lies at one point or another. Even experienced backpackers like myself, being 15 years into the hobby and loving it and coaching other people and doing it and making these videos, we've all told ourselves these lies at one point or another. I have, and they're just something you have to sort of dispel and teach yourself to ignore these lies and to push through them and to actually just experience the joy and satisfaction of backpacking for the first time or the 50th time or whatever it is. But please don't believe these lies, and I hope this has been really helpful for you. If you need any advice with backpacking, or you're trying to plan a trip for the first time, or you just need somebody to ask a bunch of questions to, rapid fire, whatever it is, I do have coaching available. So you can click the link in the description down below to go to that. You can also check out a lot of my other videos on my channel that deal with like how-tos and beginner guides and all that stuff. So I'd love to be able to help you out any way I can. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.